graduate degrees. So a lot of that was really new to me. Even just thinking back to high school, in the United States, when you're in high school, you before you apply to colleges, you have to take standardized tests. And so that was a new concept for my parents who, didn't have to go through that. That wasn't a thing in Europe where they came from. And so uh, even back then, obviously, um, teachers at my school would communicate, next steps to parents and to my parents. So obviously I was able to do everything that I needed to do, but it wasn't something that my parents were thinking about since I was born because they just weren't accustomed to the American school system. And so it was a learning process for all of us throughout along the way. And then especially once I got into college and then my applied for a master's program and now pursuing a PhD, it wasn't something that I could ask my parents about because they had never gone through it. For the most part, I would talk to my colleagues or other students in the program or potentially some professors or the PIs whose lab I was working in. So people were definitely helpful if I had questions and I would talk to them about certain things that I was wondering about, but I didn't I'm
That's something that I just want to highlight for individuals who are thinking they're from a legacy background, their parents have been through university, and where that difference for students who are going through for the first time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Even thinking about students who, let's take science, for example, right? A student who's in science, whose parents also were in the sciences, are already speaking a different language than someone whose parents maybe don't have a background in science. You don't talk about that at the dinner table. Or even just, if different fields, but someone is used to an American school system. Again, they know what they have to ask, exactly as you said, and we don't know what we don't know. And so for me, it was definitely a lot of learning along the way. And I agree with you. Some people definitely have that experience. And oftentimes you don't even think about it, but it's just something that's discussed in the household, maybe at the dinner table, maybe as a student is preparing for their next step in their career, whether they're applying to college, applying to a master's program. They might be having these conversations with family or even extended family. And for the students who don't have that, we might not even notice it as we're in our own little bubbles, but then looking at it in a greater context, there are definitely differences.